we're talking about again is 9 over reduction, taking a speeding charge of say 20 miles per hour over the limit and reducing it down to 9 miles per hour over the limit. And as we discussed, this can have a lot of great benefits for you by avoiding insurance rate increase and also the suspension of your license. But there are certain limitations that prevent a person from being able to use a 9 over reduction. These limitations are why you always want to consult with an attorney when trying to deal with a traffic ticket, because you may, inadvertently walk into a situation where you use a 9 over reduction and it does not have the intended beneficial outcome. So the limitations on the use of a 9 over come in two forms. First, the insurance limitations, and then secondly, license limitations. When thinking about the insurance limitations on the use of a 9 over reduction, those come in two areas. First, you cannot have had a prior at-fault accident where it was considered to be a severe at-fault accident, where the damages were in excess of around $2,500. So what we're looking at here is something where you were involved in a vehicle collision or otherwise some sort of vehicle accident. You were the at-fault responsible driver, meaning you were the driver who caused the accident, and where there were damages in excess of around $2,300 to $2,500. So what we're looking at is if you were involved in an accident, you were at fault, and the damages were in excess of around $2,300 to $2,500, a 9 over reduction would not be something that you would be eligible to use to avoid an insurance rate increase. Secondly, you would not be able to use a 9 over reduction in the instance where you had had a prior driving offense in the last 3 years that had caused you to accrue license points. So what you need to do is think back over the last 3 years. Have you had any prior traffic offenses, traffic citations in the past 3 years? And in any of those instances where you did have a citation, were traffic driver's license points assessed against your license? And if so, a 9 over reduction would not be an eligible option for avoiding insurance rate increase. Okay, so since we've looked at the two limitations on insurance, first that you couldn't have an at-fault accident with excessive damages, and secondly that you could not have had a prior citation where you accrued any license points, we can now secondly look at the license limitations to the use of a 9 over reduction. And this is really key in one specific area. You cannot have had a prior violation where you were speeding in excess of 55 miles per hour in the past 1 year period. So if you have had any other conviction for a traffic offense in the past 12 months where you were speeding in excess of 55 miles per hour, you would not be able to use a 9 over reduction. The reason for this is not because of the fact that the insurance company would not recognize it. In fact, it's only because a speeding charge of greater than 55 in the past 5 years, in the past year, would cause the Department of Motor Vehicles to suspend your license for a period of anywhere from 30 days, potentially up to 1 year period, depending on the speeding charge that we're looking at. So when looking at a 9 over reduction, a 9 over reduction can be a very beneficial outcome because it would prevent any sort of insurance rate increase, but there are specific limitations to this outcome, and these limitations are why you should always consult with an attorney to make sure that you would even be eligible to use a 9 over without causing severe negative ramifications for both your insurance and your license.